Because your dad is one of the murdered. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. He should tell you! You don't have to tell him! Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. Know your faces. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. Twice. It lists it in a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall, are you related to this man? Neil Marshall! Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of the name. I haven't. 2 years ago. He received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. Nani? A prosecutor? He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right, he was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gantz, the then Deputy Chief of Police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under him. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Darke. My brother fought Darke and was killed. That was the first time Darke left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. Oh, cool. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case finally was closed. At least according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Darke. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. You're insane. You're insane. No, you're insane. What is this? Who thinks this is not insane? Get a therapist, dumbass. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. Alright, good. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. But why was there so much blood? Why was there so much blood on the ground? No murder took place at the police department that day. Exclamation! The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. There's nothing chance about this. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecution's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance! It's got to be more than just that. So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky! But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Sky. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Star is completely incontestable. This is so stupid. She committed perjury yesterday. How is it incontestable? She's not a reliable witness. Why is this so badly written? If you have a response, make it a single word or less. Objection! Wait, what? Arg? Arg! I rest my case. It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. I mean, obviously someone's gonna barge in and yell again. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving all the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana's guilty. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's just forced drama. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. Yeah, someone's coming in, yeah. I saw that coming a mile away. I saw that coming from a mile away. Your Honor, wait! Emma! The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? No. What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? No? Actually, no. There's no legal guardianship. She's just here. Your Honor! Oh, in a sense. You're not. Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking is for a minute of your time. This is not how courts work, lady. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends, Edgeworth. This is not how courts work, Edgeworth. You want a minute? I'll give you 3! I was kind of in shock. Who cares? Who are you? Get out of the courtroom. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Darke killings. Can you get to the point? You have 3 minutes. Now that she mentions it, the names of both Sky sisters were in that file. Yeah, they were. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. Who does the blood belong to? It belongs to Goodman. So I ran over there and looked at it again. So did you find something? You will notice, as I earlier said, it's not like you find evidence but you don't know what it means. And then during the trial you figure out what it means. Oh, plot twist, you find out. No, it's like you find evidence and then you go into the trial, none of that evidence matters. They give you new evidence and then tell you what that stuff means. So I said the difference between a good plot twist and a bad plot twist, right? A good plot twist is you realize how to interpret all the previous evidence. Whereas a bad plot twist is just all the previous stuff doesn't matter. Here's some new stuff. Anyway, we're looking at it right now. This is a bad plot twist. So did you find something? No. Huh. Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. You spent your 3 minutes doing that? Is that all? Please don't be mad, I'm just a high school student. I told you we should kick her out of court. And I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them. Please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Why are you saying that on the witness stand? Me! Oh boy! Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? Yes, there's too much blood. Yes, it appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. Oh, it's not in the video. It's not in the video. Hold on, court record? Is it in the video? Hold on, no, court record. Video time. Video. Oh, it's behind his face. It's behind his face. God damn it, it's behind his face. The handprint is behind his face. Meekins would have seen it if it was there. This fucking guy. But Meekins didn't notice anything. And also, is there blood on the ground? There's no blood on the ground yet that I can see. Or is there? Anyway, Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use, but still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be. Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If ever I needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? Why would there be a handprint there? I mean, I guess we always object. We never not object. This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction, does it? The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something's missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there? Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. I don't know what he's talking about. Let's pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. With all this evidence here, there's got to be something I can use. The question is, which item can prove something is missing on the floor plans? There's a blue handprint on his face. Is it this one? Which item can prove look, so this handprint, you'll notice that the blood is just on on that side of the hand. Whereas the other handprint, it's the front side of the hand that's got blood on it. Also, this is gloves off. This print is gloves off because the fingerprint was there and then the blood was there. Whereas the other one is gloves on. And the blood is on the gloves. This one, the blood is on the hand. Okay, I think it's this. As you see, even a blind man can hit with buckshot. That is, so long as he's facing the general direction. It seems Mr. Wright's not sure which direction to face. It's no use! The more evidence there is, the chance of... Yeah, I mean... Again, that actually is a point, right? But again, the storytelling is bad, so I don't know what the point they want is. Just calm down, try and remember what the evidence room was like on the day of the crime. What is it that bothers me about this blood mark? I mean, this guy was there. Why? Why would that disprove anything? It doesn't disprove anything. It just says that it was covering the hand mark. It was blocking the camera. Why would this progress? What about that piece of plywood? The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here. So? Yeah, exactly so. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. I didn't know. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. No, actually he wasn't. Look. That's not correct. You see how close he put it? He put it right against the locker, right? But is he against the locker? I swear both people walked behind him. Or did they not walk behind him? Did they walk in front of him or behind him? Oh, they walk in front of him, my bad. Okay, my bad. I didn't see that. I thought they walked behind him. What about Meekins? Oh, you can't see it. Okay, alright, never mind. I thought they walked behind him. Okay, never mind. He won't. Fine. Fine! Well, what? Exclamation. Gasp! That's right, so long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker. Nani? So that means, just exactly what does that mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces are undeniably found on that locker. Don't look at me, I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Science has nothing to do with it. Emma! On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? Yep. After they put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in. Just one moment, I would not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom, your balderdash. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice! But how? One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hands, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time. I honestly thought this thing was closer. Someone bled Pyra to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? To summarize, the defendant claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman. Do we have to rehash all of this? Another incident took place in that evidence room. Yeah, no, I know this. Stop rehashing stuff. That's right, the blood mark on the locker proves they're just saying everything twice. Very well, then tell us, when did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? It is this, right? Before Meekins went in, Edgeworth. it's Lucky Sevens and then Edgeworth. Edgeworth killed him. I'm gonna present it and frame Edgeworth. Alright, let's go. Take this. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card? Oh! The ID card record! Who's that? Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at... Let's see here, 4:50 PM. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be... 4:40 PM! Ah! Ah! Miles Edgeworth! Just what have you done? I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure it out. Figure it couldn't have been me. No, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear from the lumino test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. Oh, now you're talking about time. Now you talk about time. Yesterday, I was talking about time and the game didn't acknowledge. That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining. 7777777. Talk about a lucky number. But wait! That doesn't make any sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 7777777. Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 7777777. That's 17 too many, Your Honor. Was it? Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least at present. Nani? Explain yourself, son. The ID number 7777777 belongs to someone with the rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. But that's ridiculous. Just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There's one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge! You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. Is it? I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay, let me ask a question. Yes? No, not to you. To her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana. Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number. And it's not 7777777. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. The SL9 incident. Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Why? You can't prosecute another case in this case. That's not how courts work. What on earth? How you? The witness will refrain from any further outbursts. That's not how this works. What? Why is she there? Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief of Prosecutor? This is not how anything works. This is so stupid. Come on. This is not... Why is the witness allowed to call another witness to ask about completely unrelated things? That's not how this works. I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Exclamation! Lana! I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Exclamation! Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. Banana! Even if it involved forging evidence. Why is anyone surprised? Are you surprised? I'm not surprised. Are you surprised? See? That's what I'm talking about. No! No! Order! Order! Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. No! Okay. Alright, well, it's just... Look, I understand that as a writer, you want to have drama in your story. The problem is not that there's too much drama. The problem is that for the sake of drama, you're writing stuff that just doesn't make any sense. That's the problem. Like, you're throwing away logic, you're throwing away any suspension of disbelief for the sake of this forced drama that doesn't really fit into the story, it doesn't fit into logic, it doesn't fit into any expectations. Why would a witness at the end of his testimony call another witness to ask about something unrelated? That's not what happens in courts. Alright, see you next time.